Ronnie Bell is the first winner. First, let's talk about what Eric Crocker thought about Ronnie Bell coming out of college at Michigan. There were a couple things I noticed, and I still notice those things. All right. There were a couple things I noticed. One, when he was running at guys as a receiver, the speed wasn't threatening guys. Like, so they weren't really threatened. You didn't see guys bailing out or whatever. And I'm like, okay, as a receiver, like what's gonna be his thing? And you see some quicks, you see some nice, okay, good route, but on a consistent basis, he's not really threatening guys. Where is he win? One thing that stood out right away was I thought he was an amazing blocker. And I was like, man, look how much effort this guy puts into blocking, run blocking, pass blocking, whatever it is. I'm like, look how much effort this guy puts into this. Okay. And you just continue to watch him and you see that physicality, you see that aggressiveness. I'm like, I bet Kyle Shanahan loves that about this guy. So probably when they sat down and talked with him, it's just a guy, he's going to do all the little things. Look, I'm not Eric Crocker. All right. Like there's Ronnie Bell telling them, I ain't Eric Crocker. I'm going to be good on special teams, whatever y'all need me to do. And I saw him. I'm like, Kyle's going to like that. There's going to be a role for this guy. Okay. But as a receiver, we'll see what it looks like at the NFL level. And early in the game, there was a deep comeback that he ran. I want to say Sam Darnold threw it to him. It was third down and he got strapped, right? I don't think that Ronnie Bell is going to be this just on the outside, just run vertical, sit the route down, and I'm just going to whoop guys, come threaten them by my speed. I don't think he's that guy. All right, as a receiver. But as a slot receiver, and as an outside receiver, but as a slot receiver, I think him being able to play in space, maybe be closer to the line of scrimmage, be able to block, utilize him there because he is very aggressive in that standpoint. We saw them throw the screens to him. What he did after that, we saw how he can kind of run routes from space with space, and he's aggressive. He's catching slants over the middle. Like you continue to do those things, there's going to be a spot for you on this team. And it had me on Locked On 49ers talking about what does, in the sense of roles, all right, because guys have specific roles. So Juwan Jennings, all right, if I'm talking to y'all and I'm like, Juwan Jennings, what is Juwan Jennings' role on this team? Like, what is Juwan Jennings? If y'all had to guess, and I see you guys in the chat right now, if I say, hey, what's Juwan Jennings' role? What do y'all say? Oh, man, he's going to catch some quick outs. He might be able to, catch a bang eight, essentially kind of like a skinny post, put it on the box out, defensive back. He's going to block very well. Like, and that's kind of his role. Then I start looking at a guy like Ronnie Bell. And I'm like, well, doesn't Ronnie Bell do those things well in the preseason? This is the preseason. This is not a regular season game. But in the preseason, and just looking at his role, trying to figure out what Ronnie Bell's niche might be, the things that he does well consistently. And it looks like, hey, he's going to be aggressive. He's going to block. Hey, you throw some screens to me. I can run those quick outs. I can run those bang eights. I can run those slants. And I was trying to think, like, if you gave him an opportunity, because a lot of this stuff be about opportunity, bro. A lot of it be about opportunity. And I've talked a lot about my guy Isaiah Hodgins. And I nicknamed Isaiah Hodgins. First of all, I knew him when he was back in high school. But I nicknamed Isaiah Hodgins. All he does is catch touchdowns. Because when he was playing for Oregon State, felt like all he did was catch touchdowns. Then he gets to the league, and Buffalo is like, you're going to be on our practice squad. And I'm like, this guy's better than a practice squad player. Maybe he didn't have that special teams value. All right. But, and they just didn't give him an opportunity. And then finally, he plays in his first game live, active. This was last year, all right, after spending a year and a half on the practice squad, or 2 years on the practice squad, however long it was. And he finally plays in an active game. And guess what happens? They targeted him, and he catches 4 passes. And then after the game, they try to put him back on practice squad. So what they do, they waived him so they could put him back on the practice squad. And that was at the time the Bills had injuries. All right, they had injuries. I don't know if Diggs was hurt or Davis was hurt or whatever, but they had some injuries. They waived him. And the Giants said, we need some receivers. We're going to sign Isaiah Hodgins and put him on our active roster. They put Isaiah Hodgins on the active roster. I'm gonna pull up his stats real quick. All right, Isaiah Hodgins. Because after dude, you can't make this up. So when I talk about a lot of stuff be about opportunity, a lot of stuff be about opportunity, bro. And then a lot of it be about making the most out of your opportunities. So in 2022, all right, He finally played in active games, 2 active games, 6 targets, right? He caught 4 passes on 6 targets for 41 yards. That's cool. Then they waived him. Thought he would clear waivers. Buffalo did. They said, nah. Giants said, we're finna sign him. For the Giants, okay, listen, these were the first 4 catches he had since goddamn coming into the league a couple years ago. Giants signed him 33 catches and 4 touchdowns, 350 yards. That's better than anything Juwan Jennings has done. But again, a lot of it, and again, I'm not trying to pin him against Juwan Jennings, but it's opportunity. So when I look at Ronnie Bell. When I look at Ronnie Bell, and I'm starting to try to figure out who he is and what he does, I think he fits Juwan Jennings' role very well. And I know because of the size difference, we think about the blocking part of it, but go watch the breakdown I did of him and watch what he does as a blocker. That might have been the first thing I noted because I noticed how well he did it. Terrific blocker. Puts his whole body into it. He's good there. And then as a pass catcher, I think he gives you a little bit more. So a lot of his opportunity, I don't know if this is preseason and we see guys do a lot of stuff in preseason, then they kind of just don't see him again. But a lot of it has to do with opportunity. And Ronnie Bell right now is making the most of his opportunity, and not just as a receiver and blocking and pass catching and all of that, but also as a special teamer. What do you have? 1 kickoff return, I want to say, was 25 yards. Punt return, 28 yards. So when we look at Ray McCloud and what he does, his biggest thing for the team is, I'm going to be a kickoff returner, punt returner, top 3 in punt return average, top 10 in kickoff return average. All right, like you're a good returner, okay, and you got some value as a receiver and stuff like that. When you start getting down to it and trying to save money and cut, you got to sign Nick Bosa, all these other guys. How we going to save some money? Ray McCloud, we don't need you no more. Juwan Jennings, we don't need you because we got this guy, Ronnie Bell, who can do those things. Now, you got to do it live. You got to do it in regular season. But I'm loving what I'm seeing so far from him. And as a guy who, I was like, he's going to make the team. I don't know. I mean, his best asset is blocking and stuff like that. He's showing like, nah, Crock, I'm a little more than that. I'm a little more than just a blocker, Crock. Watch me. Now, again, from a outside receiver, I don't know. Slot? Yes, sir. So, want to talk about Ronnie Bell, and I think I saw somebody with a super chat. I'm going to get to the super chats, too, by the way, y'all. But did Bell just make the 53? No way it clears waivers. I think Bell is writing his ticket. Now, he got a couple hiccups, okay? He has dropped 2 balls that went through his hands and resulted in an interception, and he fumbled. So it was a weird kind of mixed bag of, man, some really highs, and then, he's had some really lows, all right? But I think just in the sense of what he's going to be consistently, I think we're starting to figure that out. And I'd be surprised right now at this moment if he doesn't make the 53. Now, you got some other guys on there that are doing good as well. Like Chris Conley is doing very well. But right now, it looks like Ronnie Bell, he's kind of making it. Juwan Jennings slander. Recent Locked On 49ers episode, you asked Brian, what does Juwan Jennings do well at 19 minutes, 55 seconds in? Come on. When I said, okay, this is great. When I say what he do, I know what he does well. I was asking Peacock, what does he do well? So then I can ask him, what are we seeing from Ronnie Bell that he can or can't do with what Juwan Jennings does? I think Juwan Jennings is very specific. Is quick out, bang 8, good blocker. And then I ask myself, do I think Ronnie Bell can do those things? So that's the question. I don't know. What y'all think?